All right. Welcome to the No Bull Podcast, or welcome back to the No Bull Podcast. I am your host, Brianna Bull, and I am bringing you everything basketball. All right. Welcome. So this is take 2. I went live yesterday, and it's kind of early in the morning for me. I just wanted to get this out the way. Not get it out the way. I don't mean it like that, but yesterday was just frustrating for me on a whole other level. Like right in the middle of my stream, it went down, and it's like I'm having phone, camera, a whole bunch of MacBook, just a whole bunch of issues. Yesterday was like peak frustration for me, and I try not to let it show too much, but I did. I'll be honest with y'all, I ended up just deleting the live stream. It started off really, really good. Like I was probably like 45 minutes in, and it was good, but it was not the best. And so, actually, let me go ahead. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you all for your support and the love that you bring and things like that. And I'm still trying to get better at this experience. But again, if you can support my channel, my Cashapp is right there on the screen. I'm taking everything that I make and I'm reinvesting it into a better setup, a better computer, just everything better overall, so that I can bring the best experience for you all, but also so that I can have a good experience doing this. Talking basketball brings me a lot of joy, and you all see I have tried to improve on my quality, but it's a journey, not a sprint, and I'm just grateful. So now that I said all of that in my intro, let's go ahead and talk basketball. So 2 nights ago, today we have a full agenda. We have WNBA Rivals Week. The power rankings dropped yesterday for week 10, and this is a crucial time in WNBA because we are a month away from playoffs, pretty much like a month away, legit. And these ladies have been playing like they mean it. Like they've been going hard. And then I want to talk about Asha Wilson and just her historic season. Like every time, I swear, after every game lately, it just seems, especially this season, she's just breaking records. So I wanted to talk about that. And then we're going to wrap it up with some NBA. As even though, sadly that the WNBA season is about to end, that's when NBA season starts. So, I mean, it's basketball year round. So I'm excited about that. I just want to make sure we're good. We're good sound-wise? Can we give a thumbs up in the chat that we're good sound-wise? Do I have to pull it up? Yeah, I think we're good. We're good sound-wise, right, y'all? Yeah. We're good. Y'all, did y'all hear anything I said just now? Oh, God. I see someone said, good morning. I missed the show you did with the other people a few nights back. I got too caught up in the games. Hey, man, I'm glad you're watching basketball. So it's okay that you missed the show. Not a big deal. I'm grateful for your support regardless. I'm not totally sure if y'all heard me this whole time. If not, my technical issues continue, but it's only up from here. Anyway, let's get into it. So we have, first on the docket is the WNBA Rivals Week. We had on Sunday was a huge docket of a slate of games. And while there was 5 games, I am only really going to dive into 3 of them. Not that the other 2 weren't important or anything, but we're talking about playoff runs and the teams that are pretty much, there's a total, in my opinion, 9 teams that are in this playoff race. And we see multiple teams tied for positions, and it's just getting really fun and interesting to watch. So we're gonna dive into that, and then we'll breeze over last night's game. It was only one, and that was Connecticut Sun versus the Golden State Valkyries, and then we will talk about the games that are on tonight. These games are super important, like they're huge. So let's get into it. Okay, so again, Sunday, August 10th, we had 5 games. The top 2 teams in the league faced off. That was the Minnesota Lynx and the New York Liberty. Minnesota Lynx sit at the top of the WNBA with a 27-5 record, while right behind them is the New York Liberty with a 20-11 record. Mind you, both teams are the only teams currently in the 20s. Yeah, they're the only teams right now that have won at least 20 games. And the Mercury actually are right behind them with a 19-12 record. And because the Atlanta Dream won, now they sit in there too. So it's 3 teams. I apologize. There's 3 teams now in the 20s. But for a while, it was just those 2 in the 20s for pretty much the past month, almost month now, week so. Then we had the Mystics versus the Wings. Both of these teams are 10th and below in the overall standings, so I'm not going to get into that game too much, but the Mystics did end up winning 91-78, and Kiki was their top scorer, and obviously Kiki was the Mystics' top scorer of the evening. She had a double-double that night. For a game I will cover will be this Atlanta Dream and Mercury team versus Mercury. Atlanta Dream won 74-66. Okay. And then the Connecticut Suns played the Aces, and that is when Aja had her historical 32-point, 20 rebound game, and we will talk about that for sure. But just to quickly recap that game, the Aces came out on top 94-86. And then the final game of the evening that I think was probably the best game I've seen almost all season. I say that every single time, but yeah, that's what it felt like. It was the Seattle Storm versus the Los Angeles Sparks, and the Los Angeles Sparks came out with that W by pretty much one possession, winning 94-91. So yeah, let us get into it. I'm super grateful. I'm getting my words all mixed up, but I'm just really grateful to be here. My attitude yesterday was so low, but today I just feel like a renewed sense of like, let's get it done. You know, yesterday was yesterday. Today is today. And I'm excited for what this day is going to bring, no matter what crappy obstacle I endure. First game I wanted to go tap into is the Minnesota Lynx versus the Liberty. So, again, top 2 teams in the league battling out without their top stars, Breanna Stewart and Napheesa Collier. Now, there have been a lot of doubts once Napheesa went down, the Minnesota Lynx ability to continue on winning without her, especially because she went down earlier in the season, I think missing around 4 games, and the Minnesota Lynx struggled. But that is not the case. They're farther into the season, and right now they are 3-0 without Napheesa Collier, and 3-0 with their new addition of Dejanay Carrington, which we will talk more about that young lady coming up here. And then on the other side, the New York Liberty, I think they have been basic average without B. Stewie. And so both, it was interesting to see that game last night. Or the other night. It was a good game. But I think there were some things that New York Liberty got exposed with, and I'm a little bit concerned for them coming up here in playoffs, despite them being number 2. But Breanna Stewart and Napheesa Collier are set to return by the end of this month, possibly. More so, we have a set return date for Stewie, who has a current bone bruise on her knee, and Napheesa, who had a apparent ankle injury, had an estimated return date of 2 weeks. But we will see how these organizations handle their star players as the season wraps up and they go into playoffs. Again, the Minnesota Lynx beat the New York Liberty 83-71. I think that game was the Kayla McBride show. All right. What I noticed about her is that she's everywhere for the Lynx. Her versatility in size, I think it's her size that brings her this versatility. She can shoot off the screen, off the dribble. She's able to guard both forwards and guards. And despite the New York Liberty size, Minnesota Lynx have size as well. And what I saw the advantage was Kayla McBride. There was a lot of times that Jonquel Jones was guarding Kayla McBride, and that's a total mismatch. And that was where she was able to heat up and score so much. It was I didn't understand that matchup from a New York Liberty perspective. I didn't understand why they didn't make adjustments quicker, sooner. I mean, it was almost, we got to halftime and Jonquel was still sticking Kayla. So I wasn't really understanding that. I have a lot of respect for the New York Liberty coach. I think she's great. But here comes Cheryl Reeves, again, proving how she is outsmarting pretty much all of these WNBA coaches, how her and her staff may be the best coaching staff for the season, for the year. They just always seem to pinpoint and take advantage of another team's weakness early on. I would say for this Minnesota Lynx team, they struggle to score. However, their defensive presence, their fundamental capabilities, their big men's skills, like a lot of them have skills that contribute to the success of their team. However, if they are not making their shots, it's a problem for them, despite their defense. Because what I saw last night was, or not last night, but the night before, was that the New York Liberty, pretty much every shot that they took was very heavily contested. So, and what the result of that was, they looked tired. Jonquel looks exhausted. Sabrina getting beat. She got beat off the dribble multiple times. Like, they look exhausted. And they had to work really hard to score against this Minnesota Lynx team, which led to their downfall defensively. Another key matchup that was fun to watch was Courtney Williams and Natasha Cloud. I mean, we're talking about two of the top point guards in the league, and it was just a lot of fun to watch them go against each other, size-wise, skill-wise, talent-wise, and even attitude-wise. I think they both bring a lot of energy to their teams, and it was fun. Both ladies ended up with 14 points total. However, I will say Natasha Cloud took less shots to get there. However, Courtney Williams did outshine her in the assist category. She ended the night with 7 assists, while Natasha had 5. And a lot of those assists for Courtney Williams were off pick and rolls. She has an amazing ability to get that pocket pass going, and I really shout out to her. It was fun watching her drop those dimes and find her big men and even some of her guards. She did not originally come into this league as a point guard. She more so is the 2. But I think, what is that girl's? Is it Heidman? Is that her name? Hold on, let me see. It's someone that they bring off the bench for this Lynx team. She had pink hair. She changes up her hair a lot, but they bring her off the bench. Yeah, Natasha Heidman. They bring her off the bench, I think, sometimes she works in conjunction with Courtney, but sometimes I notice she comes in for Courtney. But when I see them on the court together, Natasha moves into that one position and Courtney gets a little more off-ball action, and that's always really fun to watch. Another point out for this Minnesota Lynx team is everybody ended up in the plus. Everybody who played, at least, ended up with that plus, aside from Bridget Carlton, who was -11. And I've been very underwhelmed with Bridget Carlton. Very underwhelmed. I think these past few games, she's been averaging 3 shot attempts, and all of them are threes. Obviously, she has a specialty, but it's really frustrating to see Bridget Carlton move how she does. But we're gonna keep it pushing with that one. We'll see what she does come playoffs. But she had an underwhelming 3 points. Listen. The only shade I have with this Minnesota Lynx team is their offense. I'm not saying it's not a well-oiled machine. I just think that it needs more. I think they could take more shots. I really do. I really do. But we'll see. We will see. As a team, they shot 48% from the field, so and 4 of their players were in double digits, and they were still able to pull out this win. It was kind of a average low scoring game, but it was a lot of trading baskets, really gritty play, and again, that's what we expect right now for this rival week and this playoff run that these teams are in. I do want to highlight Dejanay Carrington and her fit with the Minnesota Lynx team. Again, this team has gone 3-0 since she's moved to their team, and I think she's contributed a lot to their success, especially with their loss of Nafisha Collier. She comes off the bench for them, shooting really well from the field the other night, 6 for 10. And again, she's just been amazing. She's averaging 13.3 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals in her last 3 games with the Minnesota Lynx. Notably, she's shooting 62% from the field. So she gets her spots are kind of living around the free throw area. She likes that pull-up game, and she will take that occasional 3. I want to point out she is shooting she's shooting 62% from the field goal, and she's shooting 62% from the 3-point line. It's really cool. She's only attempting at least 3 threes a game, but to be making almost all of them, it's just proven her efficiency. I think she's found a system where she doesn't have to do too much to bring her value, and that is perfect at this point of the game. She wasn't even getting that much playing time with her last team. And so I really like that they're using her the way that she does, and I think she should still just keep coming off the bench. I don't think it warrants a start unless they're looking at this like, yeah, okay, we can live with Bridget Carlton sitting down despite her being slightly bigger than Dejanay, because Dejanay still has fabulous defense. Fabulous. And I don't know. Could this possibly be something Minnesota's going to consider? We shall see. I do want to point out that this Liberty team, they did commit 20 turnovers. So the Minnesota Lynx were able to force 20 turnovers, and not only force 20 turnovers, but they were able to score 22 points off those 20 turnovers. Again, just outshining efficiency. Now, I'm going to shift to the New York Liberty, because when we talk about these power rankings, I don't like where the New York Liberty sits. And maybe I'm being too hard on them. Maybe I need Stewie to come back for me to give that bias back to this team. But right now, Sabrina, what is she doing? What is going on with her? She is not playing at a high level that this team is going to require from her in order to make a deep playoff run. And here's why. Again, she looked tired. She's been inconsistent, notably in her last 5 games. She shot 41% from the field goal and an underwhelming 18% from the 3. I mean, it's nice that you won the 3-point contest again, but it's not translating into this season. After she came back from her neck injury, she took a couple games to get back into her groove, and we started to see burst here and there. But once Stewie went down, I don't really know what to say about what she has been bringing to the table for this New York Liberty team. She's averaging still 15 shots per game, and 5 of those shots are actually from the 3. But 50% of the points that she gets are from the free throw. She's shining in the free throw. She's shooting 100% from the free throw. So I know she got it in her with that form, but something isn't translating. And when I was watching her, it wasn't that her shots were super contested. I mean, is it she's forcing it? Is it she's rushing? Is she feeling the pressure? Is she just having, basketball's a game of runs. Is she just in a drought? What can this New York Liberty team do to get Sabrina back to the level of play that she needs to be at? Maybe it's going to take Stewie coming back. Or maybe she's just tired and we got to wait for a little more rest. When are they going to have an opportunity to rest? I mean, they're pretty much guaranteed for playoffs unless they lose like every single game for the entire month. And I don't see that happening with this New York Liberty team. But what do y'all think? Let me check chat. All right. What's up, Henry T. Hurley? He said, great answer on the Man Down Sports podcast. Thank you for your support. If you're coming from the Man Down Sports community, I'm so excited to be a part of the community. Thank you for showing your support, your love, and for being here with us today. What's up, Mel? Shout out. I appreciate your support. You know, yesterday was a doozy, but you know, I'm back like I never left. And then I'll name this YouTube later. Oh, we back. Yes, sir. We back, and grateful to be here. All right, let's keep going. So yeah, we're wrapping up that Minnesota Lynx and New York Liberty team, and then we're gonna head into this Dream versus Mercury. And I'll try to get through, because again, yesterday my stream, if you were here yesterday, you've already kind of heard all this before, but that's okay. We did not get to finish. We didn't even get into the thick of it. All right, so let's keep going. Dream versus Mercury. It was another huge game, as these two teams were battling it out for third and fourth. I apologize. And Atlanta Dream has managed to sustain their position third, but not only that, they have tied with the New York Liberty. Since they lost and the Atlanta Dream won, now they're tied for second and third. So this was a huge win for them, and they snapped this winning streak that the Phoenix Mercury had. I mean, Alyssa Thomas had 3 triple doubles in a row, and Atlanta Dream came through like, we don't give a damn. We don't give a damn. We've been playing like a team, a unit. We have some of the most improved players playing the best game minutes of their lives. And actually, let's just talk about it now, because I'm getting really excited. So, the Atlanta Dream, they ended up winning 74-66. And if you watch the game, like I did, you will see that this Phoenix Mercury team, I think their offense got exposed as well. Like I was talking about this New York Liberty offense exposed, but we know as a whole unit, the W is inconsistent offensively. However, there are a few teams that stand out as playing as a unit, making those extra passes. But this Phoenix Mercury team, what I noticed, and then I started thinking about it, like, wait a minute, as I watched them, this is their offense. They make 1 or 2 passes, maybe 3, and then the player tries to go for a shot. And that was kind of similar play style with the Atlanta Dream, and that's why I wasn't really rocking with them when I first tuned in June. I was like, I don't really like how they play. Like, I get they're all very talented, but I just didn't see this cohesion that was like impressive to me. But as we've gone on, this Atlanta Dream team has taken a turn, and Ryan Howard going down, Brittany Griner going down. I'm not wishing bad for anyone, but this Atlanta Dream has been thriving. Ryan Howard did make her return yesterday, as did Brittany Griner has been back in the lineup as well. However, they came off the bench, and I would love if they would just stay there. Now, Tiana Papayo maybe can move back to the reserves, and we can start Ryan Howard, but don't y'all darn near take Naz Hillman out that starting lineup. Y'all would be fools if you took Miss Naz out the starting lineup for Brittany Griner. Oh, man. Okay, let's talk about it. The Dream, like I said, played as a unit, scoring most of their points off of assist, while the Mercury team was just hell-bent on getting their own buckets. As of lately, the chemistry between Jordan Canada, Alicia Gray, Naz Hillman, Brianna Jones, Tiana Papayo, it's been so fun to watch them, and wherever they are right now in the power rankings, which I think they're number 2. That spot is well-earned, well-deserved, and they are a force to be reckoned with. I don't really think there's too many guards in the league that, as a unit, they have the most talented guards on their team, and I don't think there's any other, like, backcourt that kind of matches up to them on a one-on-one. Like, I would put my money on these women really breaking all the other women down. And what's amazing about this team, I get that they have Brianna Jones and they got Tiana and they got Naz but most of their points are like they're going downhill. I mean, they'll shoot the 3, don't get me wrong, but most of their points were in the paint, which is perfect, because this Phoenix Mercury team has demonstrated time and time again that they are going to use their size as an advantage. Now, I'm not going to say they weren't successful with doing that last night. I think they're one of the only teams that take their guards and put people in the post. And so it creates these mismatches. Like I think at one point, DeWanna Bonner had Alicia Gray on the post. And this is pretty much the narrative. Satu can do it. Sammy Whitcomb's kind of big. Like, they got big players on this on this Phoenix Mercury team, which could create a problem and an issue for others down the line, but not for this Atlanta Dream team. I think it was really cool to see. Let me see. Both teams had half of their points from the paint. Each team, I think, I don't remember who had 32 or who had 30, but I just know that a majority of all these points came from the paint. For what I was watching, and the Dream loved to go downhill, and the Phoenix Mercury loved the high low and the post work. That's like their bread and butter. But what I think hurt the Phoenix Mercury was the Atlanta Dream team. They're moving the ball around very quickly around the pine, and the reaction of this Phoenix Mercury team was so slow. They could not recover on these passes. They were not moving with the flight of the ball, okay? And that was their problem. It led to easy buckets for this Atlanta Dream team, and that's dangerous for this talented team. You do not want them to heat up and get confident and comfortable in what they're doing to y'all, because they will get really nasty. You feel me? It could get real nasty real quick. Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix Mercury, their shots just weren't really flowing. Although Alyssa Thomas' triple-double streak was severed, she was still able to score 21 points and grab 8 boards and dish out 5 assists. And we all know that she is in this MVP run, because she just be cranking out triple-doubles. It's crazy. It's really, she's like the Joker of the league. Jokic. She's like Joker. But as for the Atlanta Dream, I couldn't decide between what two players I wanted to be the player of the game. I said this yesterday. I would still probably give it to Brianna Jones because she had 5 blocks. She had 4 blocks. That was probably the stat line for her that really stood out between her and Naz. But between her and Naz, they both had a double-double. Naz Hillman had 13 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. She shot 3 for 7 from the 3. While Brianna Jones was 6 for 12 from the field goal, and she had 11 rebounds, but 4 of them were offensive rebounds, and she managed to pull down 15 points and 4 assists with her 4 blocks. It's getting nasty out here, man. It's getting nasty. These two players, Naz Hillman might end up being 6th man of the year, or 6th woman of the year. I don't know. Like, it's just, man, it was fun to watch. Brianna Jones putting the women in seals. She was sealing. Big pose, big body action. They just got everything that you need in a team, and I love seeing that it's coming together. I still don't like their coaching staff. That has not changed. But I'm really hoping that this Atlanta Dream team can show that they have the ability to close out these games, because it's only going to get harder. The road's only going to get harder from here for them. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up that game. Again, a lot of fun. Oh, someone said last name is Pow Pow. Okay, Tiana Pow Pow. Tiana Pow Pow. Doesn't Papayo sound like a little more cute, but you know what? It's not my name. It's her name. All right, let's see. Henry said, with Stewie being out, it forced Sabrina to take more responsibility, like ball handling and individual defense. Atlanta size and athleticism affect Phoenix perimeter offense. Yes, all valid points. Okay, now let's move on to the game that I loved the most the other night, and we're watching this road to this playoffs, because right now this LA Sparks team is sitting in 9th. They took a tough loss against the Golden State Valkyrie, and then they came through and beat the Seattle Storm in a nail biter, and now they have another tough game tonight against this New York Liberty team. And it's really going to make or break where they move on from here. Like, every game for the Sparks is so crucial. And they've been playing like it's crucial. But when they're cold and their shots aren't falling, I'm concerned for them. It's almost like the Pacers team throughout the season, and then when the playoffs hit, you saw their defense turn up. I need y'all, LA Sparks. I need your defense to turn up. We need your defense to turn up, because if not, you're gonna get demolished on the perimeter. But let's talk about it. Again, it was my favorite game of the night. The other night, the Sparks pulled off a win very late in the game, winning at home 94-91. Despite being down 15 points early in the first quarter, the Sparks turned around by the second quarter, where the three started to drop for them, and that was led by Azurá Stevens. We'll talk about that. It was a lot of end quarter buzzer beaters. The first quarter ended with Erica Wheeler hitting a buzzer beater. Then the second quarter ended with Brittany Sykes hitting a buzzer beater. Then the third quarter ended with it wasn't like a buzzer beater, but it was like right towards the end where Julia Ammond got a steal, and that led to a layup, and it put them up going into the fourth quarter. And then, of course, at the end of the fourth quarter, it wasn't a buzzer beater, but it was two last-minute possessions by the LA Sparks that ended up bringing their home, and it was Kelsey Plum connected to Dearica Amby, who made the basket and won, and then towards the end, when the Storm had a chance to score and possibly tie it with a three, we saw Julie Ammon run through the passing lane and knock the ball away. It was great. Let's see. Kelsey Plum had a terrible shooting night against the Golden State Valkyries, but the other night we saw a different Kelsey. We saw the Kelsey that team needs desperately. I would just say that she couldn't be stopped. She reminded me why she used to be on the background of my phone, because I've been giving Kelsey Plum a hard time. I have. When she got traded to the Sparks team and their presence at first, I was giving her a really hard time. But now I'm starting to see her really emerge as a leader, as a point guard, and as just an unstoppable scorer in the league that she's been known for, that she's always brought to the game. And so last night, she had Erica Wheeler beat, and not last night, I keep saying last night because this was two nights ago. She had Erica Wheeler beat real bad, and she was beating Brittany Sykes off the dribble. And when she didn't have a tough bucket to grab, she was composed, she held it together, and she had a cutting Sparks teammate that she could dish it off to. And it was nasty. But it wasn't that Brittany Sykes didn't have an answer to that, and we'll talk about it. But despite the poor perimeter defense from the LA Sparks, again, Julie Ammon made up for that with her steals. She reads the passing lanes really well, and when she takes that gamble, it always seems to benefit her. But I do notice Julie's pretty freaking lazy in the perimeter, and I hate it. She probably has the worst closeout next to Kelsey Plum, and the fact that they're both on the same team with the terrible closeouts that they have, it really pisses me off. Now, I understand the Seattle Storm team is not really known for three-point shooting, but you get a perimeter threat like Brittany Sykes, and it doesn't matter if a team isn't good at perimeter shooting. Y'all need to be hustling every single time. Why is NECA open for 5+ seconds to shoot the three? No wonder she made it. Like, I need y'all to step up your perimeter defense, because every team is not going to be like the Seattle Storm team. They need me in the locker room. But you know what? Let's keep talking about their wins, because it was a huge shooting night for Azurá Stevens and Cameron Brink. Bro, when Cameron hit those threes, I feel like the crowd was just slightly more louder for her, which was cool for real. But I'm just saying, like, Cameron Brink hitting threes, it's a problem. That's not really like the first thing that she does. She's actually like a pass first gazelle. I love watching her play. Like, she's just there to do all the gritty, get it done type of things, and that's my favorite thing about Cameron Brink, man. And she'll have moments where she contributes buckets in like tough times. Like, if you need to go up 2 or 3, boom, there's Cameron Brink. Boom, and that's what this LA Sparks team, that's what makes them special, because you have so much attention you got to give to Kelsey. Now you got to give it to Azurá, because she's going to take at least 5 threes a game and possibly hit 3 of them. You feel what I'm saying? You got to worry about her. You got to give attention to De'Aaron. Oh, but wait, we're going to pull out. But wait, what about De'Erica Amby? Because Rakia Jackson's going to find her. What about Rakia? Now we got Julie Almond too as a threat offensively. Takes the pressure off of Kelsey having to make all these assists. Now she can score, maybe be a little more in her bag. It's so much versatility with this team, and it really hurt when I saw them lose. And I truly hope that they make it in the playoffs, because right now they sit number 9, and there can only be 8. But I'm going to shift gears to this Seattle Storms team now, because despite the loss, Brittany Sykes was my player of the game. Be honest with y'all. Shout out to Brittany. She's doing exactly what they brought her over to do. Score. She is a perimeter threat that the Seattle Storm team desperately needed, and despite their loss, I think now they have started Brittany. They started her, and they're bringing unfortunately, I hate to see it happen, but they are bringing Erica Wheeler off the bench, and I don't know if that had an impact on her game last night. Even though she had that buzzer beater at the end of the first, that's really when we only saw her really come alive, and she played 24 minutes. It's just they did what we thought they were going to do, except I didn't want it to be Erica that they would bring out the bench, because I really feel like Erica has actually made them a contender these past few weeks despite them trending down. It's been Erica that has been making big shots, making big plays, hustling, just giving it her all for this team. And to see her move to the bench and Brittany Sykes into the starting lineup, I'm not saying Brittany Sykes doesn't deserve it or that it shouldn't be happening. It's just, damn, bro. You know? So now their starting lineup has Nneka, Gabby, Ezzy, Skylar, and Brittany. Now, despite Ezzy starting, I just think it's a joke that you start her and only play her 15 minutes. Like, what are we doing? I don't know if I agree with that from a coaching perspective. But Brittany Sykes, she definitely showed us the reason that she's a starter, and the reason that she's an all-star, and the reason that, you know, she's been arguably one of the best guards this league has seen. She had 27 points and 4 steals, but when I say these 27 points, they were disgusting. Like, she just looked so confident and so comfortable. Nobody on that Sparks team could stop her. At the one point, she had Azurá Stevens in a 360 spin cycle like she was doing laundry. It was nasty. I was concerned for Azurá. But she did it. She was making threes. She was doing floaters. She was going downhill. She was everywhere. And every shot, she took 21 shots, but she made 11 of them. So, you know, I mean, is she gonna turn into their primary scorer, their go-to? I can see it happening, because something's going on with Skylar. And I'm not even saying Skylar was their primary. Probably Nneka. But Skylar, like, man, she look like she dizzy. Shorty look like she out of it. Something going on. I said this yesterday. They need to check her for a concussion. I'm going to say it again. Please check that young lady for a concussion. I'm concerned. But yeah, it was such a good game. It was like trading baskets the whole time. It felt like a playoff game. And I think I say this all the time. Now more than ever is the time to watch WNBA basketball. I'm telling you. Chicago Cheetah, welcome back. Yeah, you were with me when everything went to hell. I'm glad you're back, and I'll make sure to try to finish this stream off today. I'm feeling good about it, huh? Random dude, welcome back to the chat. Skylar and Nneka are 35. She wants to take a nap. They the grandmas of the league. I mean, honestly, with the Seattle Storm team, like, if they don't win this year, I don't know what's gonna happen with them next year. You know what I mean? Like, what, you know. We gonna see. But good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, so let's just go right into this question. What teams are actually built for a deep playoff run? I asked this yesterday, and again, if you were here with me yesterday, I appreciate you being here. Just letting you know, we are pretty much talking about, you heard all of this kind of before. I'm going to try to hurry up. I mean, we went down at the power ranking, so you know, if you're just now joining and you were here yesterday, this is the perfect time for you to join because you missed all of the recap that I had already gave. But anyway, yeah, which teams are actually built for this deep playoff run? That's key in this deep playoff run. Not just a team that's going to make it to playoffs. Which teams now currently look like they have the capacity to really sustain a deep playoff run? I'm going to start off with, I got the Dream. I got the Sparks. I got the Minnesota Lynx. And somewhat sneaking into this is the Las Vegas Aces. I didn't go into a deep thing about them because I'm going to save that when we talk about Aja. But I'm saying, like, come on. Those are the 4 teams I'm looking at, and I'm like, man, I think they're built for this. Now, I'm not going to sleep on this Phoenix Mercury team and act like they don't have some of the best players in the league. They had like 3 All-Stars this year? Was it 3? I'm not going to act like they don't have that. But, however, I'm not sure if they might have the attitude. They might got the grit and the size. But something has to click better offensively for them that they just haven't quite yet figured out. Yeah, and then I'm also the Liberty team. I think I'm not giving them enough credit, but I have not been banging with what they've brought to the table right now. But that's just me, and that could change. I could be wrong. I don't give a damn. But this is what I want. This is right now. It's the Sparks. It's the Sparks. A little biased though. I'm being a little biased, but damn, they have such a good team. The Sparks, the Dream, the Minnesota Lynx, and the Las Vegas Aces. Those are my deep playoff run teams as of right now. Let's see what the chat's saying. I remember y'all said yesterday, Liberty, yup. Dream are a dark horse. Sparks could upset if they get the fever or the Mercury. Lynx and Liberty. All right. Let's move on to this power ranking. Yesterday I pulled it up. Today I'm not gonna pull it up. I'm just gonna talk through it with you all. And I'll try to hurry up. Not hurry up, but yeah. Or should I pull it up? No. Let's move on. WNBA Power Rankings for Week 10. Did they get it right? So, currently, for Week 10, they have number 1, Minnesota Lynx, 27-5. Last week, they were number 1, and they're number 1 again this week. They have a 7-game deficit, or 6.5 game deficit, if we're getting super technical. But they are dominating in every category. And again, despite the loss of Nafisa Collier, they still are able to be 3-0. So, yeah. I don't see anything wrong with keeping them at the top. Let's keep going. Next, they have Atlanta Dream. They were second last week, and again, they are still number 2. I think they are the best team in the East Coast, and I'm really glad to see that they have finally tied their record with the New York Liberty, and because the New York Liberty was sitting at the top of the East Coast Conference for the longest. But I genuinely believe that the Atlanta Dream Team is the best team in the East when they have everyone healthy and everything good to go, despite even if the New York Liberty team has everyone healthy and everyone good to go. I think I'll take Brianna Jones over Jonquel Jones any day. Out of the 2 Joneses, I'm taking Brianna, and not just because my name is Brianna. Okay? And then I'm taking Alana Smith over Kennedy Burke. I'm taking Emma Messiman. I'm taking Shorty over what's the other Shorty name? Help me out here. I don't know. What's the other Shorty name? I forget. I'm taking her over her though. Okay, I'm taking Jordan, Canada. All right, I might be going too far, y'all. I might be going a little too far. Would y'all take Alicia Gray over Sabrina, or would you take Sabrina over Alicia? Let's talk about it. I don't even like Alicia like that. Jordan, Canada over Natasha Clout. Not defensively. I might have to take. I'm definitely taking Nas over damn near everybody. All right, not Stewie though. I'm getting ahead of myself, y'all. Calm down. Relax. All right, let's move on. New York Liberty. They were number 3 last week, and they're number 3 again this week, and I don't like it. I don't think they got it right. At all. I think the New York Liberty should not be number 3. I'm just saying. But then it begs the question, if the New York Liberty aren't number 3, then who should be number 3? You know? But they do have the second tied with third best record in the league. So I can't deny that. It says what their explanation was: the Liberty has held the number 2 spot in the standing every day since July 16th, but their grip on the spot is in danger of slipping. New York is fending off Atlanta, both for 2011 to open the week, via a head-to-head tiebreaker, while Phoenix is only a game back. After sweeping a home-and-home with the Wings, the Liberty fell to the Lynx at home in the second of 4 finals rematches in a 3-week span. Their next chance is Saturday in Minnesota, but the Liberty will still be without Breanna Stewart, who is targeting a return from a knee injury by the end of August. I anticipate they're going to fall. I really do, but we'll see. Phoenix number 4. Last week they were number 5, so they have jumped up to number 4. And Friday they played the Las Vegas Aces, and then they played the Seattle Storm on Sunday. So they have a hard schedule, and I say hard because the Las Vegas Aces are like, whoa, y'all are surprising us right now. But once they lost to Atlanta, I mean, that, like I said, was hurtful for them and helpful for Atlanta, obviously. But they're top tier in defense, so I can't take away their defense. It's just their scoring is what is scaring me right now. And once they find consistency, I think they could be better off down the stretch, and they could sneak into the deep run that I foresee. Obviously, we're going to see the best out of Alyssa. I'm really looking for it. And also DeWanna Bonner. I'm not mad at what she's bringing to this team, with the smack talk and the aggressiveness and everything that she brings there. So I think that's pretty cool, but we'll see. Las Vegas Aces are number 5. They jumped 2 spots, y'all. They were number 7 last week. But this team looks like night and day. I was saying yesterday, before I was rudely interrupted by the internet and my phone and everything else going wrong. Goodness. Before I was rudely interrupted, I was saying they made adjustments in bringing Jewel Lloyd off the bench, and they've been starting Kirsten Bell. Will they continue with this trend of where they're going? Also, Nalissa Edwards, because I was thinking about Aaliyah Edwards. They played last night. Aaliyah Edwards played last night. Anyway, Nalissa Smith has been new to this team, and I think she's bringing them that energy that they needed. They were looking flat, dry, bored, a little bougie, a little fat, like slow. I was about to say fat. That was not nice. I'm so sorry, y'all. I ain't mean it like that. I wasn't trying to say fat. Like, they were just looking like they didn't look like defending champs for a while. But now that Alyssa's on the team, she's bringing them energy. She's everywhere on offense, on defense. She does not stop hustling, and I really love that. And of course, they wouldn't be anything without Aja, and she made history, and we will talk about that. But I did see a comment, and they said that they don't have any depth, and I 100% agree with you. And to make deep playoff runs, you need depth. Now, what I will say, though, is they don't have the depth, but I think they've won like 6 of their last 7 games. Like, let's really talk about that. We got to see. Let's see after this Rivals week what's going to happen. So tomorrow they have New York Liberty. Friday they have the Phoenix Mercury, and then Sunday they have the Dallas Wings. So let's see how they do against this New York Liberty and Phoenix team. And I'm not doubting them, but I am curious to see how they're going to match up. I think this Phoenix Mercury team game is going to be way better than any other game this week because both of these teams are really aggressive, and I just think I'm curious to see what kind of defense they bring for Aja. Who's going to be able to stop her? Because it's getting real nasty out here, man. Welcome, Sea Gazer. Lynx did kill Aces in the second quarter. They bombed Aces with threes. Mel said Minnesota 1, Phoenix 2, Atlanta 3, Liberty 4, Sparks 5. You know, I ain't mad at that. I'm going to switch mine to Minnesota 1, Atlanta 2, Sparks 3. Ooh, maybe I'm doing too much for the Sparks. All right, that's fair. But I'm switching Atlanta and Phoenix. And not just because of the game that I witnessed the other night. I'm switching it. And I'm switching the Liberty to 4 and switching the Liberty to 5 and putting the Sparks at 4. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's continue on with the power rankings that the WNBA dropped. At number 6, so that was top 5. So let me just recap real quick. Right now we got Minnesota at 1, Atlanta at 2, the Liberty at 3, Phoenix Mercury at 4. They jumped from 5 to 4, and the Las Vegas Aces made 2 steps up to number 5 from number 7 last week. Now the Indiana Fever are sitting at number 6. And they were number 4 last week, so they dropped 2 spaces. But I still, in my opinion, think this is way too high up on the list. But they play tonight. They play Dallas. Friday they play Washington Mystics, and Sunday they play Connecticut. I don't know about y'all, but I think that's the easiest freaking schedule they can possibly have. And I bet they're gonna lose at least one of these games. Someone had said that Caitlin was supposed to come back. No, that is not true. Caitlin is ruled out for tonight. She will not make her return from her groin injury. I'll double check, but the last time I did, she was kaput, cooked. But yeah, they said that they dropped. They lost they lost Sydney Collison, they lost Aria, and now there's no Caitlin, but they did manage to get a win over the Chicago Sky team. But no offense, that does not really say a lot. Now, to fill the void, they did sign Odyssey Sims. So they had roster spots. I think they only had like 9 people in their roster. They still got some spots, and they got around $95,000 of cap space. So they signed Odyssey, which should help them. But unfortunately, what they could have did with that cap space was get another front court player. But they had to be like, nah, man, we need guards. And so they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. Oh, Random Dude said Mystics will probably beat the Fever. And that was the game I was looking at. Like, that's exactly the game I was looking at. And I'm not even going to sleep on this Connecticut Suns team. With the acquisition of Aaliyah Edwards, I think this team has kind of, and Marina's back, I think they're starting to really find their ground. Like, I really think they're starting to find their groove a little bit. What do y'all think? What do you think? I've been liking watch, I was packing them up, but I actually watched the game last night. I was like, okay, y'all got blown up by the Golden State Valkyrie team, but that's a good team. Anyway, Indiana Fever, number 6 on the list. Are we feeling it? They dropped 2 spots. Do you think they should have dropped more? Number 7 is my beloved Los Angeles Sparks team. They should be number 6. I don't think they should be number 7, but I will credit the fact that they have jumped up 2 spots from the 9th from last week to now 7. They were called in this article the busiest team in the league. The Sparks went 3-1 to improve 9-2 over their 11 games. Yes, busiest, because their schedule has been so hard. Like, if I'm looking at all the schedules for these teams, besides the Minnesota Lynx, it's the Sparks who have the hardest schedule. Like, they have to really go through hell and high water just to make it to the playoffs. That's why I want them to win so bad. They've been doing so well, and they have to, like, it's not like they got this easy schedule like the Indiana Fever. No, they have to really prove themselves and really play the best ball that they've ever played just to make it into the playoffs, and then continue on and play to win. That road to the playoffs is going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. C. Gazer says they did dump 17 threes to defeat the Liberty. Caitlin Carr hit 7 threes in that game. If they dump 17 threes again, that team, any team can be beaten. C. Gazer also said Fever is also as interesting as Golden State. When they play good, they can defeat anyone. However, in a best of 5 or best of 7 series, they cannot provide several excellent performances to win. And that's why this Fever team is such a wild card. And you know what frustrates me? I always say this, but like, I just hear they're either better with the Caitlin or they're better without Caitlin. And it frustrates me to hear that, because this team doesn't matter who's there, who's not there. They're inconsistent regardless. Like, you feel what I'm saying? And they have so little depth that if they lost Natasha, if they lost Aaliyah, even if they lost Lexi Hall or Sophie Cunningham, it would matter for this team. And that's the problem with the Indiana Fever. To me, it doesn't matter if they lose one person or 2 people. It matters. No, it matters if they lose one person. And it doesn't even matter which that person is. And that's what scares me about this team. They got to do, I don't know what draft picks. Maybe I should look at that one more time and see what they can have to work with, because they need more. They need more. Okay, so just a quick, right now we got Indiana Fever at 6, Los Angeles Sparks, and they're trending down, while Los Angeles Sparks are trending up, and they're sitting at 7. Now, Golden State Valkyrie team, they put the Sparks above the Golden State Valkyrie team, despite Golden State losing to them on Saturday. And Golden State Valkyries are sitting at 8, and they were sitting at 8 last week, so they didn't move, they didn't go down, but they avoided a 3-game lose streak. And they also have a busy schedule, a really hard, jam-packed agenda, and their best player went down. But they're still secure for the playoff race right now. They're sitting at 7. Right? Hold on. Or they sitting at 8. No, I think they're sitting at 7. Yeah. Seattle Storm fell to number 8. They were number 4 overall, and now Seattle Storm are number 8. And Golden State Valkyries are number 7 in the playoffs. They have a better record with 1 less loss than the Seattle Storm, even though they're tied with games won. If the Los Angeles Sparks can win tonight, they can then tie with the Seattle Storm for 8th and 9th. It's a fight, y'all. It's really a fight right now for these women, and we got a front row seat to the action. Just remember, if you know bull, you know ball. Okay, speaking of the Seattle Storm team, they are sitting at number 9 in these power rankings. Last week they were at number 6. Oops, my bad. I got really excited just now. Last week they were at number 6. They dropped 3 positions, trending bad. So far, August has not been kind to the Storm, who dropped 5 games of the month, losing by 4 points or less. No team has played in more clutch games than the Seattle Storm team. But while the wins have now gone in Seattle's favor, this month has been a breakout for Dominique Malonga? Malonga. The 6'6" center from France is averaging 14.4 points per game, 64% shooting, with a 7.8 rebounds per game in just 22 minutes in this month of August. She's the youngest WNBA player in history to post back-to-back 20-point games. She's only 19 years old. Crazy. And then number 10, we have the Washington Mystics, who didn't move or go down. Number 11, Chicago Sky, who actually were ranked 12 and shot up one spot. And then you got the Dallas Wings. And then at the very bottom, you have the Connecticut Sun. And they've been at the bottom the entire time. So yeah, that is the WNBA's power rankings. Again, did they get it right? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Let's keep moving on. Okay. Oops. Okay. A'ja Wilson's a historical season. A'ja or Nafisa for MVP? Let's talk A'ja's historical season because she's not even hurt right now. No shade to Nafisa. So sorry, Nafisa. Sorry, girl. Okay, I want to highlight A'ja because what I find amazing with A'ja. Wait, hold on. Here we go. Wait. Okay, first ever 30-point, 20-rebound game in WNBA history. That was just one of her historical record breaking. Let's kind of take it back a little bit. She made history on August 10th with a stat line of the 32 points and 20 rebounds, plus 5 assists, 2 steals, and they ended up beating the Connecticut Suns. But she not only did that, but remember earlier this season, she was the second youngest ever, but fastest ever to hit 5,000 points total. 5,000 total points in WNBA history. That night also marked her 30th career game with 30 or more points, tying with B. Stewie for third of all time. It's just crazy. Also, she was named WNBA Western Conference Player of the Week at least twice this season. She's an all-time franchise leader for the Las Vegas Aces in scoring and rebounding. Right now, she's averaging almost a double-double with 22 points, 9.6 rebounds, 3.4 assists in 28 games for this season. And not only is she doing that and scoring these points, she's shooting 49% from the field goal, taking at least 16 shots a game. She's shooting 28% from the three. I'm impressed by that just by the position that she plays. I mean, 28% is not like amazing, but still, like that's not even like your normal shot. But when you do take them, I'm not even mad at it. Like you're probably gonna make it. She had and the other night it was her third consecutive 27-point game and the 14th double-double of the season. So she ties for the most 30-plus points games in NBA history. First ever to get 30-point and 20 rebounds in a single game in WNBA history. She's the second youngest and fastest to reach 5,000 points, career points. And she's broken franchise records. She's just breaking records. She broke a lot of records last year. She's breaking records again this year. I mean, is A'ja going to be the GOAT? Let's talk about it. Random Dude said you can't give the MVP on a 6th place team. And I agree. I can't knock that. However, remember, Joker and SGA. SGA had the number 1 team in the league. And Joker, I think the Nuggets were 5th or... Oh, no, they were like 3rd. Weren't they 3rd for a while in the West? Then they went to 4th. They weren't 1st, though. But they were top 5. And that's why I think this Aces team, if they keep making the push that they're making, despite not having enough depth, I do believe that this could continue to make A'ja a contender, if not secure her MVP win. I mean, you can't deny these numbers. It's pretty scary. But probably, yeah, it says the same reason they gave the MVP to SGA rather than Joker. But I feel like they damn near wanted to give it to Joker. I'm just saying. Also, Nafisha's hurt. So are we going to give it to Nafisha who's hurt? I mean, she going to come back, but we got to see how she does when she comes back. I'm not trying to take away for her season, but we got to really think about putting it into perspective. It might end up being Alyssa Thomas with the Phoenix Mercury. I think those are the top 3 contenders right now. I haven't looked at any MVP list for the WNBA, and I feel like that's going to be a conversation coming up here this week, in the weeks leading up on multiple podcasts, multiple people talking about it. I am not going to hit that right now, but what I will say is that, hold on, Aja or Nafisa for MVP. Right now, Nafisa does have a better team. She is winning, but she's also not played as many games as Aja's played. And Aja, an MVP is like most valuable player. And what would they be without her? She was MVP of the finals. She's an MVP. She's a champion. And she's still playing at this level of basketball. The ceiling is not going to stop for her. Chicago Cheetah said, I think they may try to give it to maybe Alicia Gray or Alyssa Thomas. I agree. I think they might try to give it to AT more than I believe Alicia. I really do think that something's going to happen this year, but I don't know if Nafisa's going to get it, y'all. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Shorty going to get it. I'm not saying it's not deserved, but we got to see. We got to see how the rest of this week play out. We got to see when Nafisa come back, how the month of September is going to look. Maybe this is a little premature, but I do think Aja's trending up towards that, especially with the how great. It's not that she's only scoring these, but her team is winning while she's breaking these records. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? It's a spark right now in Las Vegas, and they're being led by Aja. I think she's playing the best ball in the league overall right now, and I really, really do think she could get it. C-Gazer said SGA did not do as much as Jokic. I agree. The reason I think they gave it to him was not only was his team number one, and also let's point out that SGA, that not this past season, but the season before, OKC finished number one and they didn't give it to SGA. They gave it to Joker. This year, unfortunately, the Nuggets did worse than what they did last year, and they did not give it to Joker. But if you looked at the stats, the only thing that SGA led Joker in was steals, was 6.4 steals a game, I think he averaged. Something like that. And Joker was cranking out triple doubles, man. Their stats were damn near the same, like 30 something points per game. SGA, he out rebound SGA, but again, SGA out stealed him. Is that the word? So let me look at Nafisha's stats, because I only pulled up Aja because I wanted it to just be focused on her, but I do have Nafisa up here, so I should pull the stats up. Hold on, y'all, bear with me. Bear with me. She's averaging, so Nafisa's averaging 23.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists and 1.8 steals. While Aja is averaging 22.3 points per game, 9.6 rebounds, 3.4 assists. So the assist is right there. Aja has 2 more rebounds, almost a double-double, and Nafisa has 1 more point higher. But here's the thing. Aja has played in more games. So that is something to consider. Also, she's shooting. Also, I will say Nafisa is shooting 53% from the field, which is, I don't know. Random Dude says Sabrina also deserves some votes. I disagree wholeheartedly with that comment. MVP to Sabrina. We not about to give Sabrina MVP over Stewie. We just not going to do that. Absolutely not. What's up, Dom? Welcome to the chat, girl. Alicia Gray is having a great season. I agree. Yeah. I think, and when I did read an article for the power rankings, I think I started sitting at like 4 maybe, which is actually top five. But maybe I when I watch the Atlanta Dream Team and I watch Alicia play, I am just not impressed. Like, I am more impressed by what Jordan Canada does, what Nas does. Shoot, I even watching Ryan Howard. But Alicia, I still don't see what everybody else sees. Not sure why. I'm not sure. Okay. Wrapping up, final thoughts. I want to see how the rest of the season goes. And I think Nafisa, she's going to come back just like she did before, back like she never left. Let's tie that ankle brace really tight. Tie the strings really, really tight. You feel what I'm saying? Suit back up, get back out there, shorty. Let's finish the season strong. Also, do you think they're going to bring Nafisa back? Let's just see her update for her injury real quick, and then we'll move on. All right. Nafisa will miss at least 2 weeks. They've been saying that. Her estimated return date is the 19th. So she could come back next week. They might push it, though. Because with the Lynx doing so well, like, why rush bringing Nafisa back? I don't think there's any need to rush it. But we'll see. Okay, let's move on to and wrap this up. We are hour and 11 minutes. Okay, perfect. We're going to wrap this up. Okay, wrapping up the WNBA. Again, make sure you tune in. There's 3 games on tonight. Is it 3 or 2? I always say the wrong thing. Yeah, no. Okay, 2 games on tonight. We have, again, the Dallas Wings will visit the Indiana Fever. And but the game of the night will be this New York Liberty versus the Los Angeles Sparks. I'll be locked in for both. I want to see how this Indiana Fever team plays. And then I want to see, obviously, the Sparks win and beat the Liberty. Prove to all the haters, all the tweeters and deleters. Come on, LA. I'm from the East Coast and I'm over here rooting for y'all. Come on, man. Let's go. I'm excited. Okay. Let's talk about some NBA offseason. Best and worst offseason moves so far. This conversation, this is more for y'all than for me. When we talked, if you go to Man Down Sports, we talked a little bit about that on the panel last Friday. Just about the teams. I don't think I commented, so I'm going to comment now what I think are the absolute best moves of the offseason by far are the Dallas Mavericks. I was reading through their roster, so excited. I think I've been talking about this for weeks. If you tuned into my podcast a few weeks ago, I've been talking about this for weeks. I think they made the best moves in the offseason, and they have, despite Kyrie being out, and then we know how fragile Anthony Davis is. People looked at the roster and they're like, injuries. I'm like, bro, who cares? If Kyrie not there, I'm not saying, I'm just excited because not only do you have D'Angelo Russell, but you got Max Christie, and I think he demonstrated that he's worth it. All right. I think he's worth having in your rotation for depth, for sure. Max Christie, and then for like backcourt, they got Klay Thompson. You know, that's Klay. But I'm just saying, they're looking pretty solid backcourt wise, but frontcourt wise as well. They still got Daniel Gafford. They still got Derek Lively. They still got PJ Washington, who's like that stretch kind of guard big. They still have obviously they have Anthony Davis. That's like 4 right there. Well, 3. They have 3 huge trees, and they re-signed what's his name, Dwight Powell. And I'm not saying he's crazy or anything, but he's like right below. He's like with the Mason Plumlees, you know, but just a little bit, step down a little bit. But you still need him. He's like a Jonathan Isaac on the Orlando Magic. Yes. He's like a Jonathan Isaac low key, but Jonathan Isaac actually still might be a little bit better than him. But the point I'm trying to make is they have depth. I think they're really solid. And not only that, I left out one of the most important people. Cooper freaking Flag. Come on, y'all. Like, let's be for real. D'Lo, Cooper Flag, Max Christie, PJ Washington. They still got Najee Marshall. They dropped Spencer Dinwiddie, but they still got Najee Marshall. We're not going to act like Najee Marshall didn't have an amazing second half of the NBA season. Now, last NBA season was very interesting because there was a ton of injuries. But what gets me excited about this season is it seems that these teams are preparing more for the fact that their stars are going to be down and there's going to be a plague of injuries again or something. I don't know. But they realize that having that 3rd, 4th, 5th, like the Pacers and the OKCs of the league have taught everybody, you need to have a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th option. It's no longer going to suffice just having a 1, 2, 3 option. That's no longer going to do in the league anymore. Not with these weak bone men. Okay, so that not only do I think that Dallas is lit, bro, I think the whole Texas is lit right now. If you're from Texas, y'all are lit. Y'all are lit right now. Come on, even the Spurs to me had made decent offseason moves. I'm like looking at all these teams and I'm like, bro, every team actually made super solid moves. I'm really excited. Everybody except Golden State. The hell are they doing? I'm concerned for them. I would say like if it was like best moves, offseason moves, I think the Dallas Mavs are up there for me for best offseason moves. Even the Houston Rockets, because they needed a guard, and I saw them making acquisitions for guards. They have a great front court, but they needed more guards, and I saw some of their acquisitions. I think that was good. I liked Orlando Magic, how they acquired Desmond Bane, and I think Orlando Magic's up there with me, up there for like, damn, y'all, I love the team y'all are building. And also, who do they have that I love too? What's his name? He came from this Tyus Jones is now, I think, on the Orlando Magic. Let me just double check. But I love that move too, because I think Tyus Jones is an amazing player. So he's going to be playing alongside Desmond Bane, Paolo, Franz, even Maurice Wagner re-signed for 1 year. I think he's coming back from his ACL injury to play alongside his brother one more time. Like, they still got Jonathan Isaac. That team, it's looking solid. Is Jalen Suggs still on that team? I'm not mad at the season he had. I think he's hurt, but I'm loving what they did. And I like what the Detroit Pistons did too. And I'm kind of looking at the Raptors. Like, it's so many teams. God damn. It's so many teams, y'all. Oh my goodness. That I'm like, damn. Now, and then the Golden State. So that's all the good of it. The bad of it is Golden State. I'm going to lead them all the way down there. Golden State and probably the Utah Jazz. You acquire Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson. Y'all are cooked. I can't believe y'all. You know what is amazing about last season is the Detroit Pistons were the bottom of the list. And then they ended up number 6 in the East. That's so tough to me. But the Jazz, like, what the hell? Even the Washington Wizards had a really terrible season, and then they came back, and they weren't at the bottom. They also had great offseason moves, too. I'm not mad at the CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton. I ain't mad at it. Get Malcolm Brogdon out of there. Get him out of here. Okay, so just a quick recap of the NBA offseason trade tracker, blah, 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 blah. So, Dario Saric, I don't know if y'all remember Dario Saric, but he was playing on Golden State, and I thought he was cool. Then they traded him to the Nuggets, and he did not touch the court. No, Dario Saric was on the Wizards, right? He was on the Wizards. Was he on the Wizards or the Warriors? Maybe it was the Wizards. Anyway, I thought he was playing good, and then he got traded to the Nuggets, where he didn't even play. Barely touched the court. Then he got traded this season, and he's going to be on the Sacramento Kings, and the Nuggets got Jonas Valanciunas, which I think is solid because they sit big guys like DeAndre Jordan, and they just sit him and didn't really use him that much until someone really got hurt. But even when they were hurt, it was like, what is he doing out here? So I think Jonas Valanciunas actually was a cool move, and he's been kind of bouncing around teams, so I kind of hope he kind of stays kaput for a little bit. But yeah, the Nuggets obviously had Russell Westbrook on the free agency, and we'll talk about that in a second. But Dario Saric out of there. He's now with the Sacramento Kings. And the Sacramento Kings, what they got? Sabonis. They got Trey Lyles, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. Who else they got, y'all? Oh, Keegan Murray. I mean, he had a very, very bad season last season. I was disappointed because I drafted him on my fantasy team, and I will not be doing that again. Absolutely not. Anyway, that was cool. Okay, so the Spurs, they got Kelly Olynyk, which is a win. He was on the Raptors. And then they moved him to the Wizards, I think. He got traded to the Wizards, and now he landed with the Spurs, which is cool because they had Zach Collins, who is now on the Bulls. And I think Kelly Olynyk and Zach Collins are kind of like the same kind of guards. Or wasn't Kelly in New Orleans? He was in New Orleans, y'all. I'm tripping. He was in New Orleans, but he was also on the Raptors. He was on the Raptors, then he went to New Orleans. These guys be moving, okay? It's all politics, but I think Spurs getting Kelly Olynyk is perfect for the type of team that they are, the type of player he is. That's perfect. They needed that. Especially if Wemby go down. You feel what I'm saying? And then the Wizards get Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley in the 2026 round pick. And the Spurs are the Wizards are kind of like rebuilding. It feels that's like the vibe right now. They got rid of all the guys that they thought were going to do something. And now what they got, Corey Kispert, Alex Sarr, which I think is a breakout center. He's a good player. He's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man. Let me see. I love the activeness in the chat. Always makes my heart smile. Okay, so now we got Nets trade for Michael Porter Jr. and Cameron Johnson. So now on this Nuggets team, we have Jonas Valanciunas, Cameron Johnson, Joker, Jamal. We got, what's his name? Aaron Gordon. Y'all remember when Aaron Gordon dropped that mixtape last year? Or he dropped that freestyle. That's what he dropped, a freestyle. I thought it was cool. I was not mad at it. It was cool. You know, when NBA players want to be rappers, it's like a new thing. It's not a new thing, though. It's kind of old, but it has not stopped. I don't think we've had a year without an NBA player trying to be a rapper. Anyway, I think getting Cameron Johnson to the Nuggets was a huge win, not only for the Nuggets, but for Cameron Johnson, because I drafted him as well. And I think with his back injury all year, he was just did not want to play on that team. I don't think anything was wrong with that man. But I'm glad he got up out of there. And now they got Michael Porter Jr. Now, I saw people in the chat when I was talking about this before, like, oh, Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Johnson are like the same player. No. First of all, they're similar. They have similar builds. I don't think they have similar play styles. But are they going to bring the same kind of things to the team? Yeah. But I'm hoping to see a little more consistency out of Cameron Johnson not having to be like the primary scorer on a team versus Michael Porter Jr., who now is probably going to be like that guy over there for the Nuggets. I mean, for the Nets. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. What I've learned about the Nets is that they'll draft they'll put a team together of all of the same guys who all do the same things. It's kind of hard to tell them apart when they're all out there. And that's probably why they suck. Anyway, Schroeder to Kings. Now, we all know Dennis Schroeder likes to move around. He was on the Pistons. And now he's on the Kings. And I didn't even realize when I was talking about the Kings to include Dennis because I thought he was still with the Pistons and I forgot about that trade. But I actually like that team because I think Dennis and DeMar and Zach, I think they're going to play really well together. With Keegan, Sabonis, I like that. I like this. I like that Kings team. That's good off-season moves. And then the Pistons, we'll talk a little bit about them. Now the Clippers, they got Norman Powell out of there. Yeah, we all know about Clippers. That's the Uncle Drew team. That's the old head team. We love to see it though. I was talking to a Clipper fan yesterday, and he's ecstatic. He was like, it's been 15 years since they won a championship, and I think it's been 15 years. And he was like, that's half my life. And he's like, I've been fighting for my life for 15 years. I was like, you think you got a chance this year? He's like, I'm excited. So that's really funny. I'm happy for him. I like the John Collins. I'll be honest with y'all. I kind of wanted John Collins to go to the Lakers. And everybody like, what? You're crazy. Like, John Collins isn't a big man. But he was, though. He played like he's a center on paper. He's literally listed as a center. He's listed as a center and a forward. And he was with the Utah Jazz, and he was right along. He's big. He was right alongside Laurie and Walker. And he plays with length. Most of his buckets are near the rim. Like, I don't know why, but I wanted John at the Lakers. But I guess they wanted a more traditional big. But now that the Clippers got him, thank God. Help my man Zubac out, yo. Get that man a rest. And the Jazz, it is a 3-team deal, by the way. So the Heat got Norman Powell, the Clippers got John Collins, and the Jazz got Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 second-round pick. Woo. The Jazz suck, yo. They at the bottom of worst offseason moves. They also got rid of Colin Sexton. Like, are you freaking nutterballs? Y'all are nuts. I think, where did Colin Sexton land? Is he on the Pels? Where is Colin? Colin, where'd you go? Is he on the Clippers? No, they would have included that. Where is this man? Where did this man land? Or is he on the Spurs? Oh, God. I drafted Colin Sexton too. Colin Sexton. I drafted him on 3 of my fantasy teams. Shows you how much I believed in that man. The hell was I thinking? Yeah. Cool, but it was just like, why would I draft on so many teams? Oh, he's on the He's on the Hornets now. Damn, I was way off. So many things to keep up with, y'all. Okay, so we have. What y'all saying? Let's see. All right, my bad. I needed a second. Okay, so Pistons add Robinson in a sign and trade. So they got Duncan Robinson, and the Heat received Simone Fontechico. I'm sorry, Simone, but or Simone or Simon, whatever the fuck his name is. I thought he had a decent season. I saw him on the waivers a lot for NBA basketball. And he was definitely someone that I would watch and bring on my team sometimes, not all the time, but I do think that he was a decent guard / kind of stretch, I don't know, for them. But Duncan Robinson is a way better player than him, for sure, in my opinion. So the Pistons getting Duncan after losing Dennis, I think that's a cool grab. And all that stuff going on with Malik Beasley right now, I think he is on free agency, and I don't think anyone's re-signing him right now. So we might not even see Malik Beasley make a return to this Pistons team. So to get Duncan was a relief for them because they'll still have a 3-point threat, or just an added perimeter threat. So I think that was solid, and I'm excited to see the Pistons, especially with Jaden Ivey coming back. Like, please, Jaden. I love Jaden Ivey. I love how he talks about Jesus and just how you see his play style improve. I love Jalen Duren. Cade Cunningham, obviously, to me, is going to end up being one of the best players in the league for sure. You see how big he is? He's huge. He's like low-key unstoppable. Not low-key. Like, he actually can really score. And yeah, I'm excited. Now, Blazers get Holiday and Celtics lands Anthony Simons. Now, there was a trade that had came on the line, and they got Niang out of there. Because remember, Niang came from Cleveland, and I was like, what? Him on the Boston Celtics don't really make sense to me. But we all know that trade that had went down in back in July with Drew Holiday for Anthony Simons. And now the Blazers also have brought back Damian Lillard, but he probably won't play this season. So Drew Holiday's ready to be that guy in Portland. And then Anthony on the Celtics was such a smart move, especially with their two biggest stars out right now. They needed a guy like Anthony bad, real bad. And Al Horford's not even going to be with the Celtics anymore. Now, this is where I was talking about. They got rid of Kristaps. They're not re-signing Al. What the hell are they ready to do? Oh, that's right. I think they gave Luke Cornett a huge deal, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all, listen. It's so much to freaking keep up with. No, he's on the Spurs now. Luke Cornett is on the freaking Spurs. Wemby, Luke Cornett, Kelly Olynyk. Bro, the Spurs. I told y'all Texas is lit right now. Bro, the Celtics probably are starting to trend down for me as the worst all-season moves they could have made. Because Luke Cornett is such a gem. He's such a gem. He's such a gem. Okay. It's so many teams in the league. Let me, we're not even halfway kind of through this list. You know what, y'all? I'm gonna shift gears because I'm getting a little bit, in this bag of the NBA offseason. But I will lastly point out, the Grizzlies have Contavious Pope, Cole Anthony. They have Ty Jerome now. They re-signed Santi Aldama, which was very smart. They got Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, I'm excited to see what this Memphis team is going to do. Is Ja just dropped a new shoe. And the group chat was hilarious. They said, why isn't there a gun on there? It's so funny. It's so funny. Like, they were surprised. Like, we don't know. Is Ja going to be shooting in the gym? Like, basketballs? We hope so. I hope so. Okay, let's move on to my next thing for this NBA season. Can Westbrook still be a difference maker? So currently, Russell Westbrook is old. Let me stop playing. He's on his. Let me pull it up real quick. He had his run. Obviously with OKC. Probably the best basketball we seen. He was in his prime. Then he went to the Clippers. That was a dud. And then he was on the Wizards for like a brief moment. That was a dud. And then he was on this Denver Nuggets team. And again, that was a dud. And that is when you really started to see the Russell Westbrook, I would say, slander. Nobody drafted him in the league. This man was on the waivers. I said, y'all got Russell Westbrook and Klay Thompson. Well, Klay Thompson was warranted. But Russell Westbrook? On the waivers? Oh, my God. I was like, y'all are disrespectful. Real bad. It was real bad, y'all. But yeah, my computer acting up, y'all. It always be acting up. Why that act up? I saw some rumors going around the rumor mill that Russell Westbrook, it was a long shot, but he was being looked at for the Sacramento Kings. But they just made a ton of acquisitions and trades, so I don't know if that actually is going to come to fruition. But they're predicting Sacramento Kings. People have said the Los Angeles Lakers. So 12 hours ago, there was an article that dropped that said Russell Westbrook will sign with the Los Angeles Clippers. So it's looking like he might go back to the Clippers. Wouldn't that be crazy if he goes back and signs for the Clippers for just one more year? So it would be like a reunion of these guys playing. That would be so insane. Russ was on the Lakers too. Yeah. Wouldn't that be crazy if Russell Westbrook went back to the Clippers? Now you got James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Chris Paul, Bradley Beal. Wow, what do y'all think if he went back to the Clippers? And if Russ does go, is he really a difference maker? Like, does it help having Russ on the floor, or is it time for Russ to hang it up? He's been in the league for 17 seasons. Drafted in 2008. He's played on 6 different teams. In his career, he's averaged 21 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. And played in 1,237 regular season games. Seagazer said, nostalgia will not win you championship. Hey, man, you never know. You never know. It's looking like an all-star team, low-key. Like, just like if there was like an all-star game from years ago, this would be the team. This looking like a team built on 2K. And it was like somebody who picked this team and everybody clowned the team, and the whole time that person ended up winning the whole championship. That's the vibe I'm feeling right now. But yeah, okay. So can Russell Westbrook, no matter where he lands, will he still be a difference maker? I think so. I think he's gonna come off the bench though. No matter where he goes, I think he knows his place. He knows what's going on there, and he's just gonna come off the bench. And I'm not saying bench players aren't difference makers, but Russ has a tendency to make poor decisions, turn the ball over, but that's how he's always been. He's always been just really fast-paced basketball player. And I love that. Absolutely love that. I absolutely appreciate that about him. But yeah. Anyway, let's we'll wrap up Russell Westbrook. And we'll see what's gonna happen. But he might end up on the Clippers. He could end up on the Kings. I don't think that Kings thing's gonna happen though. But I think the Clippers. I think he's gonna end up on the Clippers. And then, last but not least, is Kuminga Golden State's future or free him from misery? I like Jonathan Kuminga as a player. I think what the Warriors don't like about him is that he's not like Steph. You know, him and Andrew Wiggins, like they try to make these guys winning Warriors had, you know, but I think he could be up there as like a really good player, like even next to Jordan Poole. I you know what I mean? Like I think Jonathan Kuminga has that potential in him, but he needs a system that actually believes in him and uses him for what he's made for. And I don't think the Warriors have ever done that for him or had that for him. And it sucks. It sucks. It really sucks that he's in this position and the Warriors are acting the way that they are. And I hope, I think it's like for the Warriors, they realize like, oh man, we should have poured a little more into this guy. Low key, something that I feel like they'll never admit. But they're like, all right, we should have poured more into this guy than what we did. And now he's going to leave too. What the fuck are we going to do? And his value right now probably isn't up there for a trade that they would want. And that's probably what's the holdup. They literally shot themselves in the foot, and then they low-key are using Jonathan Kuminga as a scapegoat to their nonsense and their madness. And I hate that for him. I really hate that for him because he's worth more than what they're probably shopping him around for. But at the same time, they're like, well, damn. They probably got Jimmy Butler, and they're like, fuck. Like, I mean, we heard the rumors, but you didn't realize he was really like this. Like, you know, I think they're concerned for their future. And it could have been Jonathan Kuminga, but it's their own fault. It's their own thought. And, you know, the injury conversation with players in the league, to me, is starting to become a little pointless. Because it just seems like no matter how many games you play, people are still going to call you a star. And it really pisses me off. Like, you could play 50 games you can miss 30 freaking games. You can miss the whole season. And people are going to be like, yeah, you're a star. Next season, you're going to be great. They weren't the ones bringing people to the seats. They weren't the ones actually on the court hustling, getting the wins for the team, taking the losses, taking the criticism, taking the L's. Yeah, and it really pisses me off, like, that people still get glorified in this space and they don't even be playing. That is crazy to me. Every season, I'm seeing people calling Anthony Davis MVP, but what season does he ever play a lot? Tell me, what season did he play a lot? Like, it's really, that's why with the WNBA, I get pissed off with Brittany Griner. Like, when I see, and then it's like, it's always, oh, well, y'all don't experience what they experience every day. Y'all get paid millions of dollars. I don't want to hear it. You get paid millions of dollars. You have access to the best trainers, the best care, the best food, the best routines, everything. I don't want to hear. I'm tired of these injuries. If the NBA has another injury season like it does, I might have to take a break from fantasy. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but last season was the most difficult season to watch, to participate in as a fan, to participate in from fantasy, to have conversations about. I'm over it. My voice is raising. I'm over it. We have women fighting for more money and more viewership and actually hooping, and then we have these men, and then they rub their bad energy and mindset off on the women, and it pisses me off. It really pisses me off. Like, the NBA needs to do better. And then we got these new cats coming in the building, not giving a F, making demands. thinking that is sweet, that they could do whatever they want. Because why? Because the guys before them are showing all you got to do is just get a little attitude, show up to the plane late like DeAndre Ayton, show up to the plane late and or cry like a baby like James Harden. We're just going to throw fits and be a diva until they trade us. When y'all signed contracts, you made a deal. And then there's people who justify their behavior based on how the front office treats them. We all know that the men are using the league for the access, for the clout, for the glory, to play the game that they say they love. And then you got the front house using the men for more money. Like it's a business at the end of the day. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. The NBA, the men, y'all need to do better. I don't believe for 1 second that half these injuries, they're trying to do loopholes for what the league tried to regulate it and then in fact made it worse. Because what teams do is they allow the BS. They allow it. These organizations allow the BS. They'll sit a guy and say, oh, it's a back injury. I think back injury is now code word for, yeah, we just don't want to play. We're not playing for whatever reason. So we're going to say we got a back injury. Like, y'all are full of it. I'm disappointed. And it needs to be better. I need to see an improvement this season, or I will be dragging y'all through the mud every chance I get. I love basketball. And to see how these guys and their attitudes and everything, and in the WNBA, I just said this, rubbing off on the women, I am literally... I've been trying to keep my composure and be positive about it, but I swear it needs to improve. This season needs to be better. The All-Star game, oh my God, is it a lost cause? I'm getting ahead of myself, but come on. Simply Ball Dropping, welcome to the chat, brother. I'm excited to work with you. There was Simply Ball Dropping. If you go back in the chat, Simply Ball Dropping is a basketball podcast. He talks sports. Brought a lot of knowledge to the game. Love hearing you talk, man, and I'm excited to collaborate with you. Then there's Man Down Sports Podcast. They talk basketball and football. You could check me out on the panel last Friday, and I will be joining the panel, and I joined the team moving forward. So I am a part of Man Down Sports podcast now, and I'm really grateful for that. And then also Sports Tea, was in the chat earlier. She is another shout out to Sports Tea podcast. She talks everything basketball. So we got the whole basketball community here for you viewers who love basketball, love talking about basketball. If you click into one community, all of our communities seem to be merging together right now, and it's like a lot of fun to be a part of. It's a perfect time now than ever to talk about basketball, and I'm just grateful to be in this space, and I appreciate y'all. But yeah, welcome TG, welcome to the chat. It says all because of that flopper LeBron flopping James in the NBA. Yeah, I can't wait for LeBron to leave. Goodbye. You know what song I'm gonna play? I got the whole farewell playlist for you. Na 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 na, na 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 na. Hey hey hey, goodbye. And on that note, I'm gonna get out of here too, y'all. Again, I appreciate you. Yesterday was a doozy, so today I had a redo. If you were there yesterday with me and you've been there since day one, I love you. For real. 143 means I love you. I appreciate you. Again, always love talking about basketball. Remember, if you know bull, you know ball. And I will catch you all next time. Talk soon.